like to suggest to take a look at your agenda here before we adopt it. Are there any additions to the agenda we need to make, folks? If not, can I have a motion to adopt?
Move.
Second.
Carried. First item on the agenda is our one delegation, John Watt. John, you're welcome to come and speak for 5 minutes. We're anxious to hear you.
Good evening, council members, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Watt. I'm the owner of Vancouver Island Enterprises, the topsoil yard beside the airport. This operation has been at its current site since the early 1990s, and now I'm looking to move the processing of the municipal yard waste to a more suitable area where neighbors won't be affected by my business. I will still have a retail operation on Knight Road, but only finished product will be for sale there. I'm here this evening to request that the town of Comox support me in this move to the base of Mount Washington by providing a letter of support. I've been dealing with the many levels of government for over a year now, and this letter will speed the process by showing that the town of Comox is on board with the move. I have found a suitable site, approximately a kilometer west of the Inland Highway, along the Mount Washington Parkway, and have had an environmental assessment done, proving this is a suitable site. I'm currently dealing with the Forest Services in Campbell River, the Comox Valley Regional District, the Ministry of Lands, Forests and Natural Resource Operations, Mount Washington, and the Ministry of the Environment. All parties mentioned are in agreement with the proposed site. To speed up the timeline and getting the necessary permits, a letter of support would be a big help. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Councillor Grant?
Who would you like the letter of support directed to? The regional district? Where does it go?
With the Forest Services and the Minister of Forest, Lands and Natural Resources, they're the ones that have to give me what's called a permit of occupancy. It's on a tree forest license. It's 1,000 acres at the base of Mount Washington, and I can use a small portion of it to do the municipal yard waste composting on.
All right. So you would supply staff with those names if council should choose to support your request?
Yeah. Campbell River Forestry is supported, and the Comox Valley Regional District has told me they will write a letter as well. I haven't got it as of yet. They told me I would have it this week.
Okay. Councillor Price?
Yes, thank you. And so this would remove all the elements that create smell or noise, and it would take it out of
It would take that part of it out of that operation, yes, and move it. It's about 3 kilometers to the nearest residence at the base of Mount Washington, far away from anybody. Yeah, and Mount Washington is on board as well.
In a perfect world, if everything went through quickly, how quickly could you move to that site?
That part of it, the material could go there the day I get a letter of occupancy. The composting operation would move there. I'd still have topsoil and bark mulch on Knight Road, but that part of it would be phased out then.
So composting could move quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions from council? Thank you. We'll consider that then later. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move on to the minutes of the last meeting. As for move to adopt the regular council meetings.
The minutes moved. How was that?
Second.
All those in favor? Carried. And the committee of the whole minutes from our last meeting.
Move receipt.
Second.
All those in favor? Carried. Okay, moving to committee recommendations. Permissive tax exemption report for 2013. Can I suggest that we have a motion to approve all 3?
I'll move that.
And second.
All those in favor? Carried. In regards to the Valley Links Operation Red Nose 2012 request for support, can I suggest a motion to refer to the Finance Committee?
How so move that?
I'll second that.
Is that the same as the budget process? Is that? Yeah, okay, fair enough.
in light of the generous support of the fire department. And everything. All those in favor of that motion? Carried. Unfinished business. If you can turn to page 13, please. Items there. First is the organic waste collection service. Patty and Tom, I think you would have been there. Is there any updates we should know about with that?
They're moving ahead with it, yeah. We've approved the solid waste management plan, so
And the composting pilot project was approved by the
Yeah.
board with the participation of the Village of Cumberland. And so, yeah, staff should hear more from the RD on that.
And I can just add
Shelley, please.
that a working group has been set up, and the first meeting will be next week. Let's talk about details.
Thank you. Second item there is the DL 194. Richard, you want to update us on that?
Yes, Your Worship, we have a signed letter between the mayor and the Comox First Nation chief that has been sent off to Ministry of Environment and the Ministry of Aboriginal Affairs requesting essentially along the lines of the MOU and essentially requesting some feedback from them as to where we go from there. And we've got a follow-up meeting with the Minister of Aboriginal Affairs at UBCM next week.
Good.
So process is underway.
So next week, that meeting, what day is that meeting on?
I can't recall. Tuesday or Wednesday of next week.
Thank you. And last item, off-leash dog park. Richard, can you give us an update there?
No change to the status of that right
So, ongoing discussion with City of Courtney.
now. Yes.
I guess we should move receipt of that. Move receipt?
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. Okay, the next item is Council of Canadians Blue Communities Project. I'm going to make a suggestion here, folks, and I'm quite happy if you don't agree, but I'll just throw it out on the table, is that this is going to be discussed and debated at the UBCM this week. I'm going to suggest, put this suggestion on the table for consideration, that it be deferred until after the UBCM. My thoughts on that is that there's going to be provincial discussion from municipalities on this at the UBCM, which might be insightful to some of us. I'm sure we all have our opinions already, and I'm wondering if council might consider that. Your thoughts? Councillor Fletcher.
Yeah, I think that's probably worthy. I mean, the more information we can hear and discuss, I think that's valid. Yeah, I think it'd be a good recommendation at this time.
Would it be appropriate to make a motion then to defer it to after the UBCM meeting?
I make that motion.
I'll second.
Any other discussion on that? All those in favor? Opposed?
Oh, sorry, I was asleep.
Oh.
Switch there.
Mr. Basket.
I was on the next one. Sorry. I thought we already did that.
So the motion is carried then, is deferred to after the UBCM. Special report, regional district meetings,
Move receipt.
minutes.
Second.
All those in favor? Carried. Okay, bylaws. The 1721 Comox fireworks regulation bylaw. Richard, you want to just give us a brief overview why we're trying to get some consistency between the other municipalities?
Well, this is a follow-up on a request received by the RCMP that they have a difficult time enforcing fireworks provisions, particularly around Halloween season, because of the different requirements and standards and bylaws for the various communities. in the regional district. You're allowed to purchase and sell fireworks in municipalities such as Courtenay and Comox. You can't possess or purchase or sell, but the enforcement provisions were lacking. This provides consistency with the city, and it also provides our bylaw with a much needed update for enforcement for the RCMP as a tool, which the feedback we've received from them is they appreciate the proposed updates that we've provided. And as well as it makes it fairly restrictive as to who would be issued permits for exploding fireworks, which is essentially just for more community-based events.
Well, do you want to, okay, I'll ask Richard a question. I noticed that we're trying to harmonize this with the city of Courtenay, and we are going to change our fines slightly from theirs to make ours a little tougher
Yes.
than theirs. Is there discussion with Courtenay to, I mean, I'm thinking of the RCMP trying to figure out who gets fined, what, and where they are, and how all that works. Are they going to follow suit with us on that, or are we still going to have a slight difference in how it works?
The fine amount may be different. I think the provisions for enforcement are very similar.
Okay.
So I think we're suggesting at least at a staff level for this introductory bylaw that we really mean business here when it comes to enforcement for fireworks.
Yeah, no, and I'm totally in agreement with that. I'm just thinking in terms of,
We
the poor guy out on the street having two different books now, trying to figure out what community he's in and how he finds.
Well, the guy in the street is still going to have two different books.
Yeah,
And-
all right.
And
Fair
he
enough.
should be able to follow the book that we give him as opposed to the
Okay,
one that he has to follow in court.
all right, fair enough.
I think the intent here is for safety first, and my experience with students, they knew the difference between the three municipalities, and even congregated in a municipality that had the laxer bylaws. So I think this is a positive thing, and it could be helpful in Halloween. Councillor Price.
Yes, I just wanted to find out, is it just the penalties that have changed, or I know, places like Cumberland, people can get a permit if you were going to have a community firework display, either a family or a group of families, and certainly what's proposed in this bylaw is that it is basically the big event, and you have to be a qualified person with all the liability coverage and all that aspects. Has any of that changed? Could you in the past get a permit and have
Yes.
your own small mum and pop event where the parents oversaw the box of fireworks?
Yes.
So that is a major change, really, the fact that we're in essence through this saying no more backyard fireworks, and that it's basically only the big event like Nautical Days. Probably that would be the major one. I don't think
Or
anybody
something
else.
similar.
Or something similar.
Should there
If somebody
something
wanted
come
to
up,
have
yes.
the capacity to
Yes.
afford to have something bigger.
That's right.
Yeah. So, and is Courtenay? Did Courtenay have that provision, or Courtenay gave up that provision in the past? Did it to have this backyard?
In Courtney's fireworks bylaw, correct me if I'm wrong, Shelley, but every request for a permit has to go to council 2 to 3 weeks in advance of a permit being issued, which again is similar in ours. This suggests delegating the issuance of that permit to the fire chief. But the fire chief has been feeling relatively uncomfortable in terms of our existing bylaw and issuing permits to residences in the community that can then set off a firework that perhaps can land on their neighbor's roof and start a fire. And which again, this takes that out of the mix. It's basically saying, no, you can't do that.
So is Courtenay also going to go down the route? They're going to do something very similar, are they? That you will be required to be a certified person to let off fireworks.
I can't speak to that, of course, doing that.
Okay. I just wondering about the harmonising side. Whether Because basically, I mean, you know, in a way this makes it very clean because basically all fireworks in Comox will be illegal, I would say.
Essentially, yes.
Essentially, yeah.
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 I would
It's
still
interesting.
anticipate there will be people with fireworks in the community, and you will still hear and see them being set off, but will it be legal? No.
Yes.
If council approves this one.
Well, on that note, I'll move first, second, and third reading.
Second.
Any other discussion?
I just have one quick question. So if we move first, second and third, how long would it be before we get to fourth reading?
First meeting in October.
Halloween.
No,
Yeah.
October 2nd or 3rd, I think, is the next meeting. And you'd see adoption then, and we would more than likely send notification out to schools in the community. The RCMP are aware of this bylaw because we've already asked them for comment on it. And we would advise them that it would be adopted at such and such a date and in play.
So at least we'd have some time for some feedback.
Yes.
And it would be interesting to know whether Courtney is going down this path or whether it's just us.
I'll look at it.
Thank you.
You can report back to us then. Yeah, I think there'll be many citizens happy with this, and many pets will be happy with this as well. A lot of explosions.
Wreaks havoc with pets and wildlife.
Anyhow, moving on then.
Well,
We
should
have to
call the
vote.
question.
Yeah, so question on the motion? All those in favor? Carried. So bylaw 1733, the Comox permissive tax exemption bylaw.
I'll move first, second, and third reading.
Second.
Question then? All those in favor? Carried. So, new business. In regards to the municipal and regional district hotel room tax, the letter of support that's been asked of council. Councillor Grant, you had brought this to our attention last. Anything you'd like to say before we...
No, I just move that we send the letter of support.
Seconder, any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Correspondence, we have a motion to receive the letter from Ann Zambilowitz in regards to the
Move receipt.
receipt.
Second.
And we're hoping if our first guest is successful there, that may help eliminate some of the problems in the letter, addressed in the letter.
And just to confirm that staff would send her a letter advising her of that?
The letter will be sent, I understand. Thank you.
A strange thing, I don't know if it was just a period of time, but I picked somebody up at the airport today and there was no smell at all. So,
I rode by and just where the wind was blowing. But once you pass the wind, it's fine.
funny. But like I say, hopefully if Mr. Watt's successful in his relocation, then we'll never get these letters.
Okay, moving on to that, the request for a letter of support, do we have a motion on the floor?
I move that we grant the letter of support.
Second.
All those in favor? Carried. And the next letter, Charlie Richardson, in regards to the Stair House, the request for a bus for seniors. If I can, I'm going to suggest that we refer this to the Nautical Days Committee. Would that be
I
appropriate?
would so move that.
Second.
All those in favor? So, moving to reports from members of council then. We'll start with Councillor Price, Department.
No. What?
Sorry, Councillor Price.
Just to confuse. I attended the Social Planning Council meeting and also the Comox Valley Environmental Council and the first anniversary of the museum and art gallery, as a couple of other councillors did, to my knowledge, and it was a great event and the community were very pleased with what's there and very grateful. And I also went to the Great Canadian Shoreline Cleanup event at Marina Park on Sunday, run by Home Depot, and I did win a prize. Not quite the WestJet flight, but I got a little rabbit for my garden. And but it was a great crew, the Home Depot, a great crew, and yeah, it was a lovely day.
Thank you,
That's
Councillor
it,
Price.
thank you.
Councillor Tom Grant.
I attended the Regional Hospital Board meeting where we were introduced to the new project manager for the 2 new hospital projects. And I can tell you, he is a very impressive gentleman, and I think our hospital project is in good hands. I attended the solid waste management meeting where after how many years back?
3 years.
Yeah. The Comox Strathcona Solid Waste Management Plan was adopted at that meeting, and so we can now move forward. You heard earlier that the pilot project for the kitchen waste is going forward. So that was a very positive move, and I'm glad to see that moving forward. And I attended a regional district board meeting as well.
Thank you. Councillor Gingras.
Well, I can report on what I haven't done. We didn't have a quorum for our BIA meeting, so that's been put off till next week. Our economic development strategic planning goes tomorrow night, so I'll have lots to report on that. And we also have our economic strategy for the town of Comox. Friday morning we'll be meeting to have that. We've got Jamie Van Struth, the economist, coming to meet with staff and myself and Paul to get that rolling. And so we'll be able to report back more at the next meeting on how those are all going.
Okay, thank you kindly. Councillor Fletcher.
Thank you. I also attended the Regional District Water meetings and the Committee of the Whole. At the water meetings, we passed the water efficiency plan. We got that back on the table, and we also passed some works for our watershed protection plan. So that was the first piece of work that we've done on that site. So that was good work. At the Solid Waste Committee, I mentioned the compost pilot and the hospital board meeting that followed. Later that day, I attended the museum and gallery anniversary, and I was really surprised at the turnout. There was a lot of people there. It was great. The cake, I think, was big enough. I also attended the regional district. We had a strategic planning day on Friday. I don't know how you forget that.
I was there.
So setting goals and objectives for the upcoming year. And also on Monday I attended the Comox Valley Ground Search and Rescue Open House at their facility in Courtenay, and learned a lot about that operation, and hopefully that I never have to use that operation or their services, but they are certainly well prepared, that group. And yesterday I attended the Regional District Board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Swift, not Price.
Yeah, no worries. Well, it's been some time since I was here, but I attended the Blue Carbon Lunch that took place towards the end of August, and the Filbert Board meeting, and then this week the Advisory Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you. Just quickly filling in for the mayor, it was a busy time. I attended the Community Justice Center board meeting a week ago Thursday. Went to the Comox Museum first anniversary open house. It was very well attended. Vancouver Island Regional Library board meeting on Saturday in Nanaimo. On Sunday, close to my heart, my dad fought in Bomber Command, the Battle of Britain Memorial service at CFP Comox on Sunday, the memorial service there. International student welcome in the afternoon at Sims Park on Sunday. Somehow I was asked to give the welcome on behalf of all the local governments, and I want you to know that I ended by saying that to international students that when the inclement weather comes in the winter, when it's raining in Cumberland and it's raining in Courtenay, it'll be sunny in Comox. And that was well received. Also attend last night the Comox Valley Search and Rescue Open House, and just a great turnout of volunteers. I think they're 60 strong, which is amazing. So we're very fortunate to do that. Thank you. With that, there's no late items. Media questions. You disappoint us again, folks. And a public question, any questions from the public?
Your Worship, it's not really a question, and as the council is well aware, I'm Don Davis from the town of Comox. And as you're also aware, I've come for the last 2-3 years and berated you for not stepping up to the plate and giving the Legion their tax exemption. So I felt it only fair that I come now and congratulate you and give you my personal thanks for taking that bold initiative. And I'm certain that you'll find in the not too distant future that those are dollars that will be well utilized by the Legion, and it's a good investment in the community. So thank you again. We're almost a little bit too late to make beer and a burger tonight. Every Wednesday night is beer and a burger, and on the Sundays at the end of the month they have a steak night or a dinner and a dance. And something that maybe the Legion hasn't been too good on putting out into the community is members of the public are welcome at the Legion, and by all means, avail yourself of that opportunity to stop by and maybe get to meet some of your constituents. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. And can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, folks.